Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marlon Wayans. Like money, boy. You look like money. Yeah. 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 Thank you. Marlon.
Y'all clapped so loud, I thought Damon was here. I was like...
Seriously, that's unsolicited.
That was love.
Yeah, we didn't have nobody going, come on. That's unsolicited.
I started blushing, but I'm black, so you can't see it.
Yeah,
I like it. Look at you, Steve.
Look at this, boy.
Money, man. Look at boy, you got a desk.
Yeah.
Look like a cool-ass principal.
Yeah.
You know, the principal that don't get mad at you. I heard you cut math. Good. I hate that class myself.
Yeah. That's what I am too, man. Congratulations on everything, man.
Thank you,
got this new show. It's based on your real life.
Yeah, my son last year got sick. He had a bone infection, osteomyelitis. And at first I didn't understand what the hell it was, but you stay in the hospital for like a month, and before you know it, you talking more than the doctors is. He has osteomyelitis, which is actually a bone infection that goes inside your vein. So what happened was his mom, she had his way of dealing with him, and I had my way. So she was like, you know, let's make sure everything is clean, let's do this. And I'm just like, let's have a party. That's what it is. I said, he's depressed. The boy's sitting here, he laid up for at least a month and a half. And my son was like depressed. And I said, listen, man, I said, this is something that God did this. You have to look at the bright side. I said, because you're 14. In 3 years, you'll be out the house. No, not that way. That's one of the bright sides. But
yeah, because yeah.
I said, at this moment, I'm gonna stay in this hospital every day. I'm canceling every show. I'm gonna stay in this hospital every day, and we're gonna be roommates for however long you're in this hospital. Me and you gonna be here together, and we gonna make this a party. And from that day on, I snuck in the Xbox. I bought in his flat screen TV. I had snacks, chips, Postmates.
Yeah.
And we made it a party. And what's funny was his mom was getting mad because I was doing all this. At one point, she even hated on me. She told the doctor, he snuck in the Xbox. I was like, you a snitch. If this was Narcos, you'd be dead right now. And so what happened was she got mad, and as she was getting mad, I was writing. And every time something would happen with us, an argument, I was writing, and it literally came up with an episode while I was in the hospital. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story, man. Marlon, look, you got 2 kids.
Yes.
Which one of them is most like you?
2 babies. They both like me in certain ways. Like my daughter got, and this is weird, my daughter got my pigeon toes, which, yeah, she got pigeon feet, which is good, because I don't think you ever seen like a pigeon foot stripper, so I'm...
Oh, that's the upside.
you never heard, hey, please welcome to the stage, Amai. Ain't much sexy about that. And my son, my son's, he's too cool to be me. Actually, even on the show, I got him a kid to play his part. My son's like, but Dad, he's not like me. I said, son, yeah, he's funny. You too cool.
Yeah.
Your little cool ass will get me canceled. I need jokes.
Hey, look.
What's funny is his mother keeps. It's funny with women, because women always, she always goes, the bad side or the bad part of the kid is mine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, Amai got my eyes, she got my hair, so she take credit for all the good stuff.
Hey man, the thing I like about you is you always keep working. You do your work. You never stop going out on the road.
I watch you.
Yes.
Listen, Steve. Steve, you work so hard, brother. If you was a slave, they would give you a raise. We gotta pay him something, my God.
On your show, man, you play a dad that has a YouTube channel called The Marlon Way.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna ask you about some parenting situations.
Okay.
And I have them here. And I want you to tell me how you would do things the Marlon way. All right? Here we go. See, this is good. I think that this is good for other parents out there because you need ideas. Okay, so let me go.
Not to say everything I say is right or close to right. It probably is gonna be very wrong. But it's the Marlon way.
Yeah, I can about damn near promise you. But if you tried everything else and it ain't work, why not? Here we go. Okay, here's the first one. Your teenage daughter is going to her first dance. The door opens. There's her date. What's the Marlon way?
Okay, first of all, how big is he?
Regular size.
It don't matter. I want your name, your number, your mama's address, your date of birth. I need a blood sample. Open your mouth. I need to swab that.
Open your mouth.
And make sure you pee in this cup and don't get none on the floor.
That sounds so familiar. Here's the next one. You catch one of your kids smoking. What's the Marlon way?
What they smoking?
Let's just... Okay, let's go to it. Okay, they smoking cigarettes.
Cigarettes?
Yeah.
Oh, man, now you know better. That stuff will kill you. Give me this pack, throw it on the floor, and stomp it out.
Okay, now they smoking weed.
Give me that.
Okay.
Now go upstairs to your room. Me and your mama got some talking to do.
All right. Your kids come home, they tell you they've crashed the car. What's the Marlon way of handling that?
First of all, are you okay? Second of all, please tell me it's your mama's car.
Hey, folks, that's Marlon Wayans. I want you to watch Marlon on Wednesday nights at 9 and 9:30 on NBC. Hey, you made it to the end of this video. I got a lot more that you're gonna enjoy, so just click to watch the next one. And make sure you subscribe to always know what's happening.